For what it's worth, here's my take on religion. My deep, intense ambivalence about it and how I've resolved that, where I come to on it, for what it's worth. It's an unusual position. I wish more people had a position like this. First, I want to say there's a part of me that just despises it, and I would include in this spirituality. The question is really whether you think the universe or something beyond it, a higher power or a God, has intentions, whether you think it wants something that you can align with. So I loathe that idea, and yet at the same time I have deep respect for it. I understand it. I think it's natural. I think it's inevitable. And the question for me is then how to manage the urge to make that assumption, that there's something you can align with, a higher power, what I call a wild card trump card. It's a wild card because it's the supernatural. You can get no evidence about it. You can only read between the lines and interpret there being this godlike being or a higher power or a spirit or something like that. At the same time, it's a trump card because it's supernatural. That is, it oversees the world. It governs. It overpowers reality. That's one of the reasons why I have trouble with it, is that we've about used up the Earth's carrying capacity for such self-flattering BS. There is no God, as far as I'm concerned. There's no evidence of it, and it's a standard trump card that people have been pulling out for millennia. I'll even argue that if you had a symbolic species that is a creature like the humans are here on Earth, anywhere in the universe, a creature that uses language and therefore has an imagination and therefore lives in two worlds, the real world that all organisms live in, and also the world of our imaginations, you would have religions. They would be pretty much exactly like the spread of religions that you get here on Earth. You would have religions like that, even if it wasn't a carbon-based organism, extraterrestrial being. If it's got language, it's got imaginations, and if it has imaginations, it would have religions and spiritualities. This idea that you could pull rank by grabbing something from above you that gives you your orientation, that gives you your direction in life, that gives you the satisfaction, the confidence that comes from feeling like you're aligned with the right stuff, the right being, the right preferences, God's preferences. So I assumed that anywhere in the universe where you had a creature with imaginations like ours, they would be humbling themselves before their Lord and lording it over others. That would be just standard. It comes with imaginations. It comes with language. I love a reinterpretation of the opening lines of Genesis. At the end of the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. When you think about that, it's at the end of the beginning. It takes a long time. It's really rare to get a creature like us. We humans that have this imagination as a product of having language, which is what we mean by symbols in the field of semiotics. Language is different from how other organisms operate. It surprises me how controversial that claim seems to be. People saying, no, we're just like other organisms, or saying, no, we're completely different from other organisms because we have rationality. Well, rationality is a side product of language, and I don't think it's the main side product. What do you get when you cross animal emotions with language? You mostly get language that justifies your emotions. That's what you would get, and you'd get that anywhere in the universe. So I have a deep appreciation for the naturalness of religion. I have deep contempt for it, that rank pulling that you get from religious people. And at the same time, I really get it at a more fundamental level because I'm a human too. So I'm not religious, I'm an atheist, and I'm a scientist. But don't get me wrong, I'm as delusional as the next guy. I mean, what do you expect? I've got language, I've got an imagination. And I have, as a result, this burning human need for self-confidence. The way I see it is once you've got language and imagination, you imagine a whole lot of scary stuff. I call us Fomo sapiens, fear of missing out. We're trudging through a sandstorm of confidence eroding possibilities no other creature can imagine. So yeah, of course I've got my delusions. And the question is, what am I going to do about them? Now, the standard moves would be to defend your delusions as real. That's what the religious people do. Or to disdain them, as if religious people are uniquely delusional. And here I'll draw a direct parallel to the Trumpists. I mean, it's the same thing. To me, it's the same thing. And in fact, I think that religion grooms for it, because what you end up doing with your wild card, trump card, is learning the art of rationalizing and moralizing anything you want to do. I do not find any of the religious sacred texts to be what they're touted as, which is the one true way. I see them as catalogs of rationalizations. And then what you get from theology is rationalizing the inconsistency between this catalog of rationalizations. And I'm not just talking about reading the text. You look at how religious texts or sacred texts of any kind, spiritual or whatever, are used. They're used the way that the Trumpists use them. They're used to rationalize anything for absolute, ultimate self-confidence. That's what you get when you claim a wild card, trump card, the way a religion does, the way a spirituality does. It gives you a sense of completeness, like you've solved reality. It's the ultimate generic meaning of woke. The truth is revealed to you. You've taken the red pill. You've exited Plato's cave. Now you see the light. Now you've solved reality. That's just standard. That's what you'd get from human beings or any organism that had imaginations like ours. So how do we deal with this? What are you going to do about this human problem? And the way I'd frame it again is you got these people who are engaging in all of this self-flattering wild card, trump card nonsense that we all need, but we've used up the Earth's carrying capacity for it. You know, you watch the religious wars in the Middle East. This can't end well for humankind overall. So what are we going to do with this need for delusion? I need my fantasies. I'm as delusional as the next guy. There's no reason to assume otherwise. We all need reassurance because we are anxious, because we are Fomo sapiens. So what are we going to do about that need? I have a solution that's kind of new to me, but it came from some conflict with Trumpists and also religious people and also spiritual people. And it's different from what you'll get from the new atheists who disdain it, as though we should just be realistic all the time, that people should just drop this need for the affirmation or confidence that comes from feeling like you're aligned with the higher power. What are we going to do with that need? I don't think we can just swear it off. That's like the people who think humans are completely different. We don't have those emotions driving us. We can be rational. We don't need to rationalize. We don't need to moralize. Let's all stop that on the count of three. I don't buy it. I love the kinds of stuff you get from Christopher Hitchens. He's right as far as he goes, or Sam Harris or someone like that, but they don't go far enough. They don't quite admit that we can't transcend that need for self-confidence. We need it, and we get it from fiction. So where I resolve to is we all need our safe escapism, our optimal illusion. We all need what I'll call id-exercise, to exercise our id, our need to feel like we are superior. Let me say a little bit about why we need that. It takes confidence to get good at anything. And then when you're good at something, you don't have to worry that you're good for nothing, so it breeds confidence. You need confidence to get competent, and you need competence to get confident. And to some extent, we all have that. Some of us more than others. You know, some of us don't get enough competence, and that's going to be a real problem in the coming decades, because AI is changing what counts as competence. And it's become harder to find jobs. Our young people are in real trouble and jobs are the main way we find our competence. But I would also say no matter how competent you get, you'll still want a margin more confidence than you get from reality, from the reality of your capabilities. This is going to be a problem. It has always been a problem. Why do we need more than the confidence we can get from our competence? Because we have to save for a rainy day. The bottom could fall out on our lives tomorrow. We could end up with a cosmic wedgie. Our loved ones could disappear. We could lose our jobs. We have to accumulate. We want to accumulate more confidence. People tend not to leave confidence on the table. We want some extra. So what are we going to do about that need, that universal human need for whatever self-confidence we can get, and how we tend to get it from fiction? That's what we'll do for that extra bit of confidence that we need, the extra that beyond what we can get from what we are capable, competent at doing. So yeah, a medical doctor or someone who's highly trained in some important skill, they'll have the confidence that comes from their competence, but they'll want more. And there's a major challenge for kids because they need that confidence up front. They depend on fictional confidence, the kind that we offer to our kids as helicopter parents, mollycoddling them, praising their kindergarten paintings, all of that. We need that. And we never quite give up on our need for it. It's not like we grow out of that. We still want a little extra. The way I handle it is through exercise, through what I'll call also off-jerking or strategic gullibility. Here's an example. At night, I turn on the TV and I watch movies and TV series. And I tend to identify with the likable people, and I'm glad when they win, as if I would win, as if I would do the challenging, difficult things that they do. That's a kind of off-jerking. That is me being a jerk, me pretending I'm more than I am, me getting a little fat-headed. That is, on top of the meat of whatever competence I have, I'm actually adding some fat. I need that fat. My need for fictional self-flattery, cosplay, which is all this stuff is. It's huge. It's huge for all of us humans. We call it entertainment, but it's actually egotainment. So it's an expansion of the ego or the id. It's idtainment. But ego works better in that context. What I mean by ego or id amounts to the same thing here. That is, we tend to use ego in general conversation, folk psychology, as meaning what actually Freud described as the id. That's that impulse in us that wants to feel bigger, that wants to, by Freud's standard, murder our fathers and marry our mothers. And I'm not endorsing that as the explanation. I don't think it's sexual. I think it's actually a product of our imaginations, that we need this extra self-confidence that other organisms don't need. What are we going to do with it? I recommend safe escapism. So my answer to the religious and spiritual is, yeah, we all need these fictional cosplay lifestyle brand hobbies for stress reduction. We need that as human beings. But yours is not special. It's totally fine that you've got religion. Just like it's totally fine that someone's got spectator sports, where they're fans of a team and feel glorious when the team wins and get into all that bravado. There are so many wonderful ways to get this fictional boost, the mojo boost we get from claiming a lifestyle brand. If we could just admit to that. I have no problem with religion or spirituality, and I hope they don't have any problem with me watching TV for the same effect, or masturbating, or getting into spectator sports, or playing video games and feeling like a badass hero, or shopping and feeling like a prince or princess. I have no problem with that. We all need those hobbies. But once you start pretending yours is superior to other hobbies like it, or that yours is more real than reality, that your fiction surpasses reality, and that you're somehow special and entitled and exceptional, and people have to show your hobby special respect, and that they're wrong to challenge the realism of yours. No, you need a slap in the head there. You need to be woken up out of that. No, yours is not special. Everybody has a hobby like that. We all need them. Yours is fine. Go to church. Do your spiritual practice. It does a lot for stress reduction, and we need it. But at the same time, you can't pretend it's more real than reality, because like I say, we've about used up the Earth's carrying capacity for this self-flattering stuff. We have to come up with a better way to handle it, or we're in trouble. So no, I'm not going to show your religion special respect, nor am I going to show a disrespect as though I'm rational and you're not. No, I'm gonna say it's great that you got a hobby. I've got one too. If we could do that, it's a hard move to make, but if we could do that, we'd be able to cohabitate with each other and our fictions. We don't just have to get along with each other. We have to get along with reality. It wins in the end. In that sense, I am religious. I hold no higher God than reality, not even me, which in my desire for self-flattery would be my first choice for who I would hold higher. That's what you get from religious people who humble themselves before the Lord and lord it over others. We need that stuff, but we need to remember it's fiction. We just got to do that. Because we don't just have to get along with each other, we have to get along with reality. So how do I do that? I study us. I'm trying to be as realistic about humans as I can be, but also about how unrealistic we have to be in order to get by. Human life is way harder than other lives. It's way harder. I wish we could appreciate that about our challenge, about the human condition. I wish we could show that respect, compassion, honor to ourselves and others, because we need it. This is hard. Being human is hard. Imaginations are fun, but they're also terrifying. All the real and imaginary past, present, future threats and missed opportunities that we have to deal with that no other organism has to deal with. They just don't live in that domain. We live in two worlds, the real and the imaginary. We cannot get rid of the imaginary. We need it. But we need to manage it better. As the Cat in the Hat says, it's fun to have fun, but you got to know how. And as Stevie Wonder says, everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. All right. Now, my advertisement. For people who are dealing with any kind of absolutist, anybody who has gotten on their high horse, humbled themselves before the Lord, these days Donald Trump would be a good example, and lorded over other people. If you're dealing with people like that, and you don't feel like you're being as effective as you mean to be, two possibilities. One is join my free study group that happens every other Sunday in the morning. It's people from all over who are in relationships with people who have gone that way. They've let their source of self-confidence, their self-confidence fiction, go to their head. And so we're trying to find more efficient, effective ways to get through to them, to get them, basically to give them that slap upside their head and say, just, you're not exceptional in your need for exceptionalism. Escapism is inescapable, but you got to handle it right. It's fun to have fun, but you got to know how. So this group, just email me, and this group meets every other Sunday. It's grand fun. We just explore together more effective ways to handle such situations. And then if you're dealing with one-on-one, like if you're partnered with someone who seems to have gone that way, get in touch with me. I do private consulting on it. You can call personal coaching. It's really designed around how to get your head back from that stuff, either by humoring them or by regaining ground you've lost to these know-it-all people who act like they've solved reality. or by taking space from them. We work with the combination of those things, assertion, accommodation, and space-taking. But we come up with a strategy that's just right for you. First half hour free. Just get in touch with me again at the email address. Thanks for watching.